So welcome back, it's Nick from the coach station, and this stop is around the LTA Padel Instructor Readiness Test. Now you might be thinking about coming onto the course and you'll need to do this, or you might be just interested in the entry-level standard for the coaching course in the UK. So let's have a look. So the lob feeding task, get the basket close to your left hip if you're right-handed so that you don't have to keep moving and going towards to get the basket. Put it by your left hip, open the racket face, and let's get some really good height on this lob. So we're after really good height like that to be able to drop deeper than the service line and touch the glass. Now that one's a little bit short. Let's see if we can get a little bit more height on it. There we go, that's the sort of perfect shot. So we're after 5 of these in a row, that'd be number 2. And it's going to touch and go down, that'd be perfect. Number 3, like this, and touch and go, that would be good. Good height on the lobs, this would be for number 4. It's going to go touch and go, yes, and the final one is going to drop and go up. So that's what you're after. You're after 5 in a row, going deeper than the service line, touching the glass halfway and then dropping before the service line. So next up is ground strokes. So with ground strokes, you have 1 minute, and you have to hit 15 balls over the net to your partner, and you're only allowed 1 ball, and you have to hit a minimum of 6 shots off the back glass. And when we're looking off the back glass, you also have to show good technique off the back glass, getting the racket back early, getting preparation well, and recovering to the right position. We've got to be back in this position, racket ready, you feed it in, right? So I'm going to go, that would count as 1. Yeah, that would be 2, but I've got to get 6 off the glass, right? So this would be, that's 1 off the glass. This would be 2 off the glass. I've got to be nice and compact with my swing. That's it. Okay, going here, that would be here. That's it. So racket back nice and compact. And I've got to get 15, showing a mixture of forehands and backhands like this. And here you can see the player that I'm working with. I'm volleying, and you can see the player that I'm doing the readiness test with, and they are recovering back to just behind the service line. They've got to hit 6 balls off the back glass with 15 in total in a minute, showing a range of forehands and backhands. So there are 2 ground strokes tests. There's one on the right and there's one on the left side of the courts. Part of the readiness test is serving. So you're going to serve from the right hand side and you're going to serve from the left hand side, and you're going to do 8 serves from the right and 8 serves from the left. Now with those 8 serves from the right, you have to try and aim for the first panel of glass. Same with the left, to the panel of glass, first panel on the left hand side. Now in total, out of those 16 serves, you have to get 8 out of 16 in the correct panel. You also have to serve as if it's a proper paddle serve. So I'm going to demonstrate what that might look like and show the alternative of what it might not look like as well. You're going to start with the racket high and then drive down through the ball towards that first panel. It's really important that the racket travels from high to low through the contact, and it's going to have a little bit of slice on it as well, because that's going to keep the ball nice and low off that first panel. So that's what you're after. We don't want to see coming in when you're doing your paddle serve like this and hitting up, because although it's accurate to the first panel, actually in a match what's happening there is that ball is rebounding high and it's making it easier for the opponent to get back. So the paddle serve needs to be with that racket coming down through the ball with a bit of slice onto panel 1. So where we're after 2 meters from the middle, so it's middle way across, racket and ball together. We're going for that panel 1. And so we're going in there. So that would be 1 out of 1. Let's have another look. That would be 2 out of 2. Let's have a look at this one. So that would be shorter. That would be on the fence, and it doesn't count. So it would be 2 out of 3. Let's have a look at this one. That would be, again, fence, so it didn't count. Let's have a look at this one. So that one would be out, and that also wouldn't count. So remember, it's panel 1 that we're after. So panel 1 is where we're really trying to get the ball to go from here and into that spot on panel 1. And we're after 8 balls into there and 16 in total. So let's have a go. You can see here that the player doing the readiness test is wide, 2 meters across, and aiming for that first panel. Here, you can see the angle that the camera that you can set up so the assessor can really quickly see where that ball is hitting the first panel or not, and also see technique. Here's from the left hand side, and again what that would look like from around that distance from the middle. And then finally the angle that you will get when you're coming from this side is that would be the perfect angle to be able to see that rebound on the first panel. Okay, next up is the volleys. So with volleys, what we're looking for is 15 volleys beyond the service line, landing beyond the service line, and your partner hitting those back to you. You have to do a minimum of 6 backhand volleys and then obviously 9 forehand volleys within 1 minute. So when we're setting up for the volleys, you're going to be level with post 2, so your heels just inside post 2. And when you're getting ready at the net, the tip of the racket up nice and high, so we're in a great ready position. And then the feeder at the back starts with a ball, and they feed the ball in. 6 backhand volleys as a minimum of 9 forehands, 15 in total as a minimum, all landing beyond the service line. Now you can see here that the backcourt player, me in this example, is having to let some play off the glass when the ball is deep, and then some of them are a little bit shorter, but still landing deep at the service line and being played before the glass. Now the next angle that we're going to see here is the angle that you will set up your camera, which is this one, which is just slightly off to the side, and it's easy to be able to see the volleyer. And it's easy to be able to see where the ball's landing beyond the service line. So that would be the best place to put the camera, and showing that great ready position, racket tip up ready, and be able to keep that ball nice and deep. This next bit is the demonstration task. Now, you get a choice of 3 different types of demonstration. You can either demonstrate the return of serve and explain the tactics and technically how you do it. Or imagine that you've been lobbed and it's your first opportunity to neutralise the point. So the ball hasn't cleared your head, but what's the shot to be able to neutralise and maintain the net? So tactically that's what you will do, and technically you'll show what that shot is. And the final choice is about taking the net. So how you would take the net in paddle. So what shot would you choose to take the net? How would you demonstrate it tactically? And what technical teaching points would you give? So good luck, set up the camera, and off you go. And this is just an example of how you'd set up the camera ready for your demonstration task. So you need to be clearly in the picture. You would talk to the camera as if it's a group of players, and you'd be able to describe what is going on in your demo.